Hello and welcome to the Marley Bird YouTube channel, brought to you by Red Heart Yarns. In this video, I am going to talk to you about how to make adjustments or changes or complete alterations to the Marley Bird Granny Square Cocoon Cardigan, which was the crochet along for 2017. All along these 6 weeks, I had planned on doing this final video to show you, hey, you've completed this really wonderful sweater, but what can you do with everything you've learned through making this sweater to make adjustments to make other completely unique patterns? My goal with this video is to show you some different ideas, maybe some different constructions that you can use to come up with some other really wonderful favorite sweaters using all the tools and techniques you've learned over the past 5 weeks. Now I am going to start off here. For those of you who might not have been a part of this crochet along, don't worry, it's not too late for you to start. The crochet along will be available forever, meaning all the instructions will be available over on marleybird.com. I'll put a link to it right down there in the video description box below. And you know the drill. As you're down there, go ahead and smash that like button, as my kids say. If you want to make this crochet along and maybe we're several years ahead at the time, don't worry. Go ahead, watch all these videos. Be a part of the Crochet Along Facebook group. Hopefully it's still going on by then because it is a really wonderful group. It's really fantastic, full of wonderful crocheters in there, even some knitters in there who have worked together over these past several years to complete really wonderful projects. And this year, 2017, it was our year to make a cocoon sweater. It's our first foray into a garment. So we made a really great sweater. I'll put a picture up right there so that way you can take a look at it. You can see that we use Red Heart Unforgettable yarn and we use very simple construction. We made motifs and joined them as we go and did a very large rectangle. And from that rectangle, we did some folding, added some cuffs, did a collar, and it created a wonderful piece. But what if we wanted to change up the way we shaped this cardigan? Could we do that using the same motifs that we learned to make? Well, absolutely we could. Let me show you how. As you take a look down here, you can see this is the cardigan as we have been looking at it. You remember I did one edge on screen. I never did finish the other edge. I will be doing that because I want to publish this pattern as a free pattern for a kid's cocoon cardigan. So all I need to do is finish that up and add a cuff there and a collar. Using the brand new yarn Chic Sheep by Marley Bird, which will be available the start of November 2017. And so this will be a free pattern on this size. But you know that we essentially made a big rectangle. And as I just did, we folded up these two portions and put a cuff right here to create this really great kind of cocoon shape. But what if instead of folding those up like so, maybe we didn't pretend this isn't here, and maybe we just folded these up and then folded these up so that they were flat right there. We could get a really cool little girl or a little boy cardigan, right? We would just have to keep open these spaces over here for some arms. Let me show you another example of that. So I'm working up a little swatch right now. This isn't a swatch, this is actually a sample because I'm going to do exactly what we're talking about here. If I were to open up this little thing that I have here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wide. You can see I have 1, 2, 3 deep. But look what I did. I didn't add these 3 right here in the center. And the reason I didn't do that is because I figured if I leave this little bit open for a neck hole and I fold these down like so, I want you to look at this, okay? Follow along with me. If this is my neck opening and this is the front of my cardigan, all I need to do now is add some arms right off of these two sides and a sleeve or arms off this two sides, right? So if I were to hold this like this facing me, all I would need to do is add some more motifs right here. So it'd be one right here and right here. And then, you know, couple those out as far as I need to, as far as I decide I want to. And then I would just need to tack these together because I didn't join them already as I went, just to give myself some side seam. And then as for the collar bit, I could do the collar just like we did, or maybe I just do the simple edging like we did and then just do a couple rounds of single crochet. I could totally do that, right? Or maybe I do the edging like we did and I come around. Let's see if I get this. I do the edging like we did, and as I come around here, I follow it all around the bottom, and I continue the edging around this way and make it all continuous. I could do that. Or I could do just like we did with these awesome cuffs. Instead of adding motifs here, I could just do some more ribbing, like have the sleeves be ribbing. Now, if this is hard for you to see dimensionally, if you're a little bit challenged with geography or geometry, I can't even say the right word. Don't worry, I'm challenged with geometry too. So let's think of it this way. If I were to open this up, if this is the back of the little girl sweater and I pull it forward, here's the neckline, here's the front. I need to have sleeves attached to these two squares. So I would have sleeves or a couple of motifs there, maybe a couple more motifs there. I think 2 more motifs is what I will end up adding. And then when it's all folded, that will allow me to have a T shape, you know what I mean? And have a nice little cardigan. It's sort of, it'll be like a drop shoulder cardigan. And at that point, it's just a matter of what kind of edging do I want to do? Do I want to add more length down here? Do I want to add a whole nother motif section lower? Do I want to maybe add this a little bit wider? Maybe I want to make this a couple sections wider. Or I could think of it this way. Maybe I go ahead and I fill in those 3 blocks and I fold this in like so. And so I make it wider. So if I have these here, this would fold in. So then I have a sweater that's this wide. Does that make sense? So there's lots of options, even just with the techniques that we've done by having one motif and then start just filling in the boxes. You know, just fill in the blanks to fill a basic shape. It's really super easy. As far as this pattern here, it will be available on the Marley Bird website, so make sure you stay tuned. Sign up for my newsletter so that you get up-to-date information on whenever I put out a free pattern. Now, what if we decide we want to make the exact same cardigan, but we want to use different yarn? And when we do our gauge swatch with the different yarn, we don't like how tight the motifs are if we get the 3.5 inch wide motif. But if we play around with the yarn and get a motif size that we think looks good and it ends up being bigger, how do we make adjustments in the pattern to compensate for that bigger motif? Well, let's take a look here. This is a new yarn by Red Heart called Hopscotch, and please forgive all the ends. I should have woven them in before, but I forgot. I really liked the way the colors of hopscotch work together when you go from one motif to the next. And I was like, oh, I really want to make something with this. And so it dawned on me, oh, maybe I could make the cardigan that we're all working on, right? And so that is 3.5 inches wide, okay? So these here, this is Red Heart Soft Baby Steps, and it is 3.5 inches wide. And what you can see, the hopscotch is much bigger than the other. We can also confirm that by measuring out these squares. So let's grab our tape measure and let's just hold this wide. And each square with the hopscotch is about 5 inches wide, okay? That's a significant difference. If we were to use the same number of squares recommended for each size that we did on our original with the Unforgettable, our cardigans would be massive. There's no way they would fit. So how do you make these adjustments? Here's what you need to do. What's really convenient is I gave you a schematic for the cocoon cardigan, and I gave you the different measurements that we were trying to reach with the number of motifs we made. So depending on the size you made, or maybe you want to alter it and make it a little bigger or a little bit smaller, you need to calculate how many squares you need to get that size that is written on the schematic. Now you can absolutely fudge that as far as maybe a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller, but again, you need to remember you will either take more yarn, less yarn, or it will be a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller. Just be real cautious of that. But you can absolutely do that. Use that schematic as sort of your template for, okay, I need to get something this size. My squares are 5 inches wide. How many squares do I need to make in order to get 60 inches wide? Okay, so 60 inches divided by 5 gives you 12, right? Is that my math? Yeah, that's correct. Gives you 12. You now know you need 12 squares wide to get a 60-inch wide piece. Does that make sense? So it's really easy to do that. And when you do that, you'll end up getting pieces that look stunning and a little bit more grander scale than what we did. So I'm going to pull this up out of my lap. This is the cocoon cardigan, just like what you guys did, just like what you made, only this used the new yarn by Red Heart called Red Heart Dreamy. It's a little bit more squishy. It has more halo to it than the Unforgettable yarn, and it is like a little bit thicker, bulkier, and these motifs are a little bit bigger than what we were getting. So let's see how big these motifs are. As I hold them out, let's see here. We set that down. These are 5 inches wide. Go figure that. And if this thing was complete, it is so pretty. I love it so much. And it fits me. Do you want me to put it on? Put on the Dreamy? All right, I'm going to put it on. You ready? Okay, let's do this. Hopefully that worked on video. I don't know. Anyways, here is a cardigan that I made that I was just showing you, and it's made out of Red Heart Dreamy. And this is a really big cushy yarn. You can see here it has a lot of loft to it, and the motifs are 5 inches wide, so I didn't need nearly as many. And you can see it's just really big and comfortable. I made the collar the same size as the one you made. I shouldn't say I made it. I actually had a sample crocheter make this for me, who is fantastic. Her name is Teresa. I love her. But I love this piece. I love that I'm able to show you this piece using a different yarn with the very same motifs, just a little bit bigger, and explain to you how, if you want to have a piece just like this, you would take your measurements as written on the schematic, divide that by the size of the motif you're getting, and just work it just like before. Just work it same old, same old. The other thing I want to mention is that some of you in the Crochet Along group decided that you were going to add the collar all the way around the body, which I think is fantastic. The only reason I did not do that on this sample is I felt like it made the back of the body a little bit longer than I really wanted it to. But I'm throwing that out there, so those of you who are following along with this, maybe at a later date, will get a chance to go and check out some of the wonderful finished projects over in the Crochet Along group. Let's see here. The only other thing I have is just showing you another example of how you can use motifs to really shape a garment. These two pieces, it's actually the same garment construction, but I made this one first, and then when I sold it to the magazine, they wanted me to change colors and use a different yarn, so we get this one. So this one is a really big worsted weight acrylic, and this is a thinner acrylic yarn, but let's pick one of them out and pick on it. This is just made up of motifs. Yes, it's a different motif than what we used. Maybe it's better if I hold it up to the camera to see. It's made up of motifs that are all joined, but you can see over here, just like I was mentioning with the little girl sweater, if you leave those points open for the armholes, you actually could get a nice pullover. And as far as the front goes, if you look here, these are just full pieces. If I would have seamed those together, it would be just a full square. But to make an opening for the neck, I just kept those open, and it just made a really nice neck opening, a nice V-neck. And so that's that one, and this is the exact same sweater. Just a larger V-neck. I left it a little bit more open on the back, deeper in the front. It's more of a, I think we called this a swimsuit cover-up, nice deep armhole. And it's a long tunic length. I even left a nice vent down here at the bottom. So my point of showing you this is there are so many options when you understand the concept of putting together motifs with and how you join them together. The way you just fold and construct, you can get some really great, unique sweaters without a lot of extra work. It doesn't require a whole lot of extra shaping because of the lacy nature of the stitch itself too, really molds and melds to the body, so it works really well. Anyways, I know that there was some really beautiful sweaters out there that the crocheter said they went rogue and they made themselves a cardigan with sleeves, and everybody was dying to know how they did that. Well, basically it's just like this. You essentially just decide where you're going to put the sleeves, keep those bits open, and then add your motifs there, and you get a really great cardigan. I think she is fantastic, the lady who designed that cardigan piece and went rogue. I think it's beautiful, and I really appreciate the fact that people are taking the design and really making it their own. Okay, that brings us to the bittersweet ending of the fall crochet along right here on the Marley Bird YouTube channel. I really hope many of you finished your cocoon cardigan and are very pleased with it. Whether it's for you or somebody you love, I hope they wear it or you wear it with much joy and happiness. And I really do hope you've learned a lot during this crochet along. That's my goal. My goal is to teach you skills that you might not have known before, perfect skills that you might have known, and give you the confidence to take that leap of faith and be adventurous and make something maybe you've never made before. And who knows, maybe some of you are budding designers out there and take the knowledge you've created here and create some wonderful sweaters along the way. I've had such a great time being a part of your lives for the past 6 weeks. I hope you will subscribe to the Marley Bird YouTube channel because I have a lot of wonderful things coming out until the end of the year for sure. Specifically, my own yarn line, Chic Sheet by Marley Bird, is coming out in November. Make sure you tune in because there's a lot of really fun things that are going to be happening with that. If you want to know more, join me over on the Marley Bird Facebook page or make sure you sign up for my newsletter. This has been so much fun participating in the crochet along with all of you, and I want to wish you the best of luck, and I will see you again soon. Bye guys. Hey, don't leave yet. I'm sure there are other videos here that you will enjoy. Go ahead and check out some of my knitting and crochet videos as well as some of my crafting videos. You will love them, I promise. If you hit subscribe, you'll be up to date whenever there's a new video released. And as my kids say, don't forget to smash that like button. Bye. Everything you need to know about knitting or crochet can be found right here on the Marley Bird YouTube channel. Learn with Marley Bird. Visit youtube.com/Marley Bird.